Beatrice Alana is a director, performer, playwright, and arts educator based in South Jersey. Since 2013, Beatrice has served as a leader and actor in the New Jersey-based acting group Theater in the City. Through this partnership, Beatrice has received extensive training in the areas of arts education for ages 8 and 18. And today we're going to talk about her virtual production, Nescience, and why she wanted South Jersey and the world to see how stupid stereotypes can be. Beatrice Alana, you are definitely what's good in South Jersey this week. Beatrice Alana, hi.
Hey, what's up, Zazel? Isaiah.
No, you keep it right. We keep it just like that. You know how you do. Listen, I'm glad, first of all, you took time out your schedule. Your busy schedule, especially this week. It's a big week, isn't it?
It's a big week.
We got a show that's coming out. And I was like, there ain't no way. And The Rock means no way. No, but there's no way that we're not going to talk about it. And we're going to talk about a show called Nescience. Every time I talk about it and think about that word, I'm like, Nescience.
Yes.
So I'm like, like Nescience. So since you are the playwright, since you're the director, since you're the woman with several hats, I want to ask you, where did this come from? Because this is not new to you. I seen the show at Rowan a couple years back, but now we're in the virtual style. But before we get to that, what is Nescience?
Okay, so Nescience, so if you Google the word Nescience, it's a word that means lacking knowledge or ignorant. And I thought this was the perfect title for this particular show because the way that this show came about was basically I personally went through a lot of like negative stereotypes as an African-American woman. And I realized as I went throughout my life, especially in college where you first saw the show, that I was looking to define myself. You know, everybody, goes through that journey where they're trying to find their identity. And I felt like being an African-American woman in a predominantly white neighborhood, it felt like the stereotypes for African-Americans had already defined me before I even got a chance to define myself.
Wow.
And it was really eye-opening for me, especially in college, being young, and like I said, trying to define myself. And I was curious, and I wanted to know if stereotypes kind of drove the lives of the people around me. So I took the opportunity to ask some people that, I met along the way in college, some of my friends, some people that, I saw walking down the street, and I asked them, have you been negatively affected by stereotypes? And surprisingly, each and every person that I asked had another outrageous story for me, even more outrageous than mine. And I was like, wow, I feel like this conversation needs to be had. And I felt like it wasn't going to naturally be had. So as an artist, I went to school for theater. I thought it would be a great way to shine the light on a topic that we wouldn't normally talk about. So that's how Nescience came about. Because people are ignorant to different stereotypes, I felt like I would compile the cool stereotypes that I heard of and make a show out of it.
Give me an example of a stereotype that not that I deal with, it's not about me, but something that you actually dealt with in your life and you wanted to put it to a pen and a pad and you wanted to show it to the world. Give me an example.
Yeah, so like one of the biggest things for me, like I said, I'm a big theater person. I love theater. I went to school for theater, and I just love the arts in that way. And being an actress in theater, one of the main stereotypes that I just think is so funny that people automatically assume that I'm either going to play somebody's slave, somebody's mama, or something of that nature. And it was so outrageous to me because if you knew where I was from, I know nothing about being a Southern Black mother. I know nothing about the hood. I know a little something about the hood, but I'm just not, that was never me. That was never how I was raised. I was raised in a conservative Christian home. I got a great education. And the stereotypes that followed me were these stereotypes of me being loud or ghetto or from the hood. And I could never live up to those stereotypes because I never really lived that life. So yeah, that's one of the biggest stereotypes for me, just like being typecast in the theater world as somebody who is completely opposite from who I really am.
Got it. What was it like choosing the people to play these different roles? There's like a lot going on in this show, and I know you had a field day with picking people to just act out these stereotypes. And your actors, of course, they're talented, and of course,
Yes.
they're dedicated, and they wanted to work with you. But um, what was it like? Can you walk me through just having them sit down with you, and then you're going through the script and you're like, listen, this is a play about stereotypes. What was
Yeah.
that like? Was they down? Were they like, yeah, okay? Or were they like, excuse me? Like what was that like?
Yeah, so I kind of compartmentalize it into two different arenas. There is the cast is split in two. There's half of the cast is children ages, I want to say 8 to 13, and the other half is adults. Right. So the first half was the adults, and the adults that I chose were talented people that I already knew could tell the story. And I explained this countless number of times now. I really just wanted people that would be willing to tell the story, not necessarily lived the stereotype, not necessarily, had went through what their character went through or anything. I wanted people that were able to tell the story. And
Right.
so, like I said, I went to school for theater. So I was surrounded by a bunch of people that I knew could already be fearless and not be afraid to go against the grain and play these stereotypes that people know. And I think that also is a cool part about this show, is because we didn't necessarily target different races. So like people that were introduced to the show, I didn't say, okay, you'll be playing a Black person or you'll be playing a white person. They just told the story, if that makes sense. So like,
Basically, you're saying that they're open to just being, in order to get the job done, to tell the story, as you keep saying,
yeah.
they're willing to assume any position, play any role, do what they got to do because they're like
Right,
professional actors.
right. Yes. So like,
Amen.
yes, you hit it right on the head. So like all the people that I chose, they might have some experience on the stage, but even if they didn't, they were fearless people that were, willing to tell the story and willing to put themselves out there and go against the grain. Now, real quick, the kids, it was a completely different story. I what I realized about kids is we don't give them enough credit. They're already really fearless. They don't have as many boundaries as we give ourselves as adults. So I rallied all the kids that I knew, each and every kid that I knew. I said, come on out. We're doing a show. The shy kids, the kids that were outgoing, the kids that were mean, the kids that were nice. I asked them all to come and to audition for this show. And when they all came, a lot of them didn't have experience. A lot of them didn't have any say, but all of these kids that I chose were honest and weren't afraid to, tell me about how they felt and also share their point of view. And I thought that was important in this show, especially because we're telling people stories about different stereotypes. So, I hope that made sense.
Oh, I'm with you. Yeah, I'm with you. And you picked a good bunch too. Not just the adults, but the children too, because
Mm.
they can take direction. It looked like they could take direction pretty well, and they probably want to go on to be adult actors too. So they can just
Hope
add this
so.
show to their resume. Uh,
Yes.
I'm wondering about the hard times, because in the beginning of this interview we're talking about things are fun, things are cool, and you had a good experience even with the children actors. What about the times when it got hard, especially trying to do a show in the midst of a pandemic? How did you deal with that?
Yeah, so I honestly, there was a lot of hard times within the cast, and even just as far as timing is concerned.
Hmm.
I want to say the biggest thing was timing. Um, Everybody knows that when you put on the show, it's not free. And, I really wanted to tell these stories in a specific way, and a lot of times the funds just weren't there. So I would stand up and start the process of the show on faith, and starting different GoFundMe pages like that. But because of, specific funds, we weren't able to, book the theater that we wanted, or we weren't able to, you know, um, have the editor that we wanted. And that was okay. It just wasn't for that time. And then the final time that we got a chance to do it, we were going to put it on. We were ready. The pandemic hit. COVID-19 hit
Wow.
like a boulder. And, we wanted to keep everybody safe. We were already pretty far along in the process, but we wanted to keep everybody safe, and we didn't want to gather in, theaters or, bring an audience or anything like that. There was also struggle within the cast, as far as, just being committed to the show. Like I said, I wanted the show to be done in a specific way because I felt like these stories deserved that attention. And the cast was rather big. I think we have about, I want to say 10, 15 people in the cast total. And I didn't want to cut any corners. I didn't want to, shy away from how I originally had it in my head. And because of different schedules, I'm dealing with, on one hand, professionals that have careers and they can't really, make it to rehearsals all the time. And I'm also dealing with kids who's in school full time and they can't really commit to certain rehearsals. So we struggled a little bit on that end. But overall, we worked it out, and we have a show. We have a show, and we're excited to show you what we put forth.
And as well as I'm waiting for this to come out. I can't wait for this to come out. February 5th, 6th, and 7th, by the way. These
Okay.
are the days, and we can't wait. Tell me a little bit more about doing this during COVID-19, because social distancing is something, right?
Yeah.
But how can you do a scene with somebody if you can't be with them, or you
Yeah.
have to have 6 feet apart, be 6 feet apart? Did you have yardsticks on set? Did you have rulers? Did you,
Yes,
or
plenty of
how did you even
yardsticks.
was it, what, what was it that made you press on? What would talk about that? Because I know me personally, I would have quit, honestly, because it's a pandemic. You have a lot of no's. People are ready to say no. And then it's like, it's an easy surrender in a way, because you understand. It's like, oh, okay, well, yeah, you want to stay safe. However, there's something that I have that's special. I believe God put on my heart to do.
Amen.
And, I still have to walk this thing out. So how did you deal with that, in your head and, in your heart and your emotions? Were there some days you were pissed off? Or you can say
Yeah, every day. No, I'm kidding, not every day. No, but yeah. So number one, I think that you hit it on the head when you said the word faith. I am a Christian, and I do believe that God really helped me through a lot of this. When I felt like I couldn't do it and I couldn't lean on what I knew, I would pray and I would ask God to give me the strength, and I believe that He did. That's just my personal belief. But in in another way, I've surrounded myself around people who are really supportive. My friends who are also artists like yourself, anybody that I needed help with, like you and my other friends, they pitched in and they helped, whether it be financially, whether it be just emotionally. I surrounded myself around people with the similar vision, and also the stories just drove me to just continue, because I'm a big believer on timing. And in the past, when the show got canceled, my biggest thing that helped me let it go was, it just wasn't the right time. It just wasn't the right time, right? But as I look around in our society and see people that are being killed based off of the color of their skin, still to this very day, it's been years and years and years, I could not live with that excuse anymore. I couldn't say that it wasn't the right time because the media shows otherwise. The media shows us that a show like this these stories like this need to be told right now. So that's what helped me push on. It helped me push on to know that, yeah, this is the time. This is the time that people see how negative stereotypes affect people. It's the time that people look in the mirror and, take ownership of their actions and how it treats other people. And that really, honestly, that really drove me to continue putting up these stories. I felt like it was the right time, and I didn't want to cheat myself or the other people from experiencing something that can change their lives.
Amen. There needs to be a shout out given to the Masquerade Theater right now.
Yes.
We're going to shout them out. Hey, Masquerade Theater.
Hey, Masquerade.
Thanks for taking us on. Tell me something. How did they come to be in the circle, during the pandemic? Who would think that there would still be a theater that's willing to, still work? So how did they come into your life? How did that come about?
Yes, the Masquerade Theater. So Megan and Tommy Bound, they are the founders of the Masquerade Theater here in South Jersey. They were also local artists. They worked in local theater, and I originally met them doing that. I did a show and where they directed a show at Haddonfield Plays and Players. Shout out to them. And I just kept the connection like we all do through Facebook and everything like that. And the last time when the show was canceled in July, I put up a post just saying, goodbye for now, blah, blah, blah. And, I poured my heart out in that little post because it was really sad, And the Masquerade Theater, they're always looking we all have the same vision in that way where we want to, create change, and we want to give people a voice that wouldn't normally have a voice. And they saw that. They saw that in my show. They saw that in that little post that I posted, and they slid in my DMs. They reached out to me on Facebook and they said, listen, we want to read your show. We want to give your show a chance. And that was huge to me, and especially in the midst of the pandemic, because you don't know how it's going to work. You don't know how it's going to look. And the Masquerade Theater has been doing great work as far as keeping theater alive in the midst of a pandemic. They're one of the first theaters that I know in the area that has took the chance to do live virtual theater. So all of the things that they put forth, aside from Nescience, was not pre-recorded. They streamed, each and every person streamed from their homes and used special technology to bring that forth. And they were the first to do that in the area. So
Wow.
They're very committed to doing theater, and they're very committed to telling stories. And they decided to take on my story. And honestly, I couldn't be more blessed. They really lent a helping hand creatively, with their talents, with their production, everything. They're dope. Shout out
Amen.
to Megan.
Amen to that as well. Tell me how this is set up, because it's a viewing treat for our audience, because there's not really a cost assigned to the premiere of this show. And, that's your real people. And I know that definitely made my ears bigger, because I said, well, this is a free show in essence, but not quite yet. There's no cost applied. Elaborate a little bit about that so that I can understand, because sometimes I don't even understand how this is working.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is kind of complicated. So the way that this show is working, it is pay what you wish. So like I said, I'm a firm believer of the show, and I believe that regardless, everybody can get something out of this show. So, me, Megan, and Tommy decided that, it wasn't going to be a set cost, because we didn't want people to shy away from watching the show. But, theater costs, and I know the Masquerade Theater wants to continue putting on more shows like this. And, we'd be lying if we said the shows didn't cost money. So the way that we decided that this would work is people can still get on the show and stream the show, but those who are able to, you can pay what you can pay. So if you want to pay nothing, you don't have to. But also, if you want to pay $100 for one night, you can do that as well.
Amen.
So, either way, we just try to make it so that, number one, we can still tell the story, but number two, we can tell other stories as well. And that's where the Pay What You Wish came about, so that we can continue this work and we can continue putting up shows that are quality and that can bring light to other social situations.
Okay. Where do we go to view the show? Where's it streaming at?
Yes, so we will be streaming through Crowdcast. There is a specific link that you can get off of masqueradetheater.org. Once you click that link, it'll take you right to the Crowdcast link where you would see all of the dates that is listed. Then you just click the date that you want. And once you go there, you just follow the directions until they send you a link to your email. And that's the link that you click on the night of the show to watch it.
Hook me up with that link, please.
Got you.
And are you nervous for Friday the 5th? Are you nervous for, people to see your work? You're directing this thing. So how does it feel to be by the way, for those that don't know, Beatrice is an amazing actress as well, but now she's directing. So for you to be on the other side of the camera, what does that feel like for you? Like how are you processing that? Do you show your actors grace? Do you show them mercy and kindness?
Not all the time. I mean, you're a living witness. Sometimes I can be a bully. But
I wasn't going to bring
it up. Scary. But man, Isaiah, it's really scary. It's real to me. To me, it's really scary because you're not just responsible for yourself. I feel like when it comes to being a director, I think that a lot of people just look at you to know what they're supposed to do. And a part of my directing style is I want people that are able to tell the story and take creative freedom. And I think that as a director, a lot of times you ain't supposed to come with that quality. You're supposed to know what you want to see and tell people what you want to see. And I don't know. I feel like I'm not that girl. I think that I'm a big believer in collaboration, and I just love to incorporate that as best as I can. So it was just really scary to be on this other side, telling people what I expect or trying to articulate what I wanted to be highlighted in the stories. It was just weird. It was really scary. But it's also fulfilling at the same time because everything that has been in my head for years now is coming to life. And I'm just so blessed and thankful and happy.
Would you do it again?
Yeah. Strangely enough, I can't even hesitate and say no because, like I said, I think that there is so much beauty in theater and so much beauty in the arts because we have the power to tell things that wouldn't normally be talked about and do it in a creative way where everybody can receive it. Not just you, not just me, but everybody can receive it on their level. So yeah, I would do it again in a heartbeat, Isaiah. I would do it again.
What kind of stereotypes am I going to see in this play?
Okay, so one stereotype that you might see is a deadbeat dad. Another stereotype that you might see is a thief, a robber. Another stereotype you might experience is a terrorist. Yeah, those are the biggest ones. Yeah.
Okay. And for no, that's fine because for those roles and those actors, how did they do? Like, were they good? Like, talk about your cast for a little bit. Just the special cast that came to be. Are they going to be, excited and proud of what they put down?
I sure hope so. So one thing that I loved about my cast is just as committed to the work that I was. I felt like the cast was really committed to the work. And I think that in their hearts, honestly, each and every one of them wanted to honor the stories and honor the characters that they were portraying. So I know that the way that we filmed this show, We got together, social distanced and was really safe. And they got behind a camera and they recorded. And that was really odd for a lot of my actors because a lot of them are used to being on the stage. Nobody's really used to being behind the camera. So when they got behind the camera, it was just so amazing to see these people that were outgoing and like that shined on the stage get behind the camera and act like like a deer in headlights. It was fun, but at the same time, it was a little bit scary. And I think that for them, it was a little bit scary too. So I know that for them, they want to know, how they did because they still didn't see it yet. A lot of the cast didn't see how their footage turned out or anything like that.
Yeah. I wonder how mine came out.
Yeah, you too.
I wonder how mine came out.
You
for
got
real.
on stage and killed it. You did.
Oh, okay.
Shout out to Isaiah because he killed his part.
Okay, well,
Killed his
all right.
part.
Y'all just have to tune in and see how he did it.
Yes.
I think my last question for you, definitely, we're going to choose to actually put time into watching you. So we're not going to watch Netflix. We're not going to watch Hulu. We're not going to do Amazon Prime and all that other good stuff. We're going to make sure we sit down and watch you and your show. When we sit down, what do you want us to leave with?
Yeah. I think that number one, I want you to leave with another perspective other than your own. I think that when you go into a show, you automatically just go into what you have within you. And you go in, just with your own assumptions already. And I want people to leave with somebody else's assumption, somebody else's perspective. I don't want you to be able to fit your shoes when you leave. I want you to really I want the audience to put themselves in somebody else's shoes and really understand the shoes that they're wearing, if that makes sense. I
like
want
how
them
you
to
put
walk
that.
away. Come on, bars.
Yes,
No, but
indeed.
I really want people to walk away with another perspective other than their own. And like not just walk away with the perspective, but really understand somebody else's point of view. And that's the biggest thing I want people to walk away with. And I want people to walk away with a laugh. The show, despite all the serious content, it's a comedic show. It's a comedic play. So I want people to walk away with some sense of joy. And most of all, I want people to walk away with hope. I want people to see that, not everything is bad. And there is a light at the end of the tunnel. So yeah, get a little hope from the show too.
What are the times for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday? What time can we catch this thing?
Yep. So the show begins on February 5th, like you said, and it starts at 8 o'clock. February 6th, the same time, 8 o'clock. Something special on the last night, February 7th, we're going to do 2 performances, one starting at 2 p.m. and then the final show at 8 o'clock again. And also, I want to tell everybody to stay after for a talk back because not only are you going to get a quality show, but you're going to get a chance to talk to all of the actors and ask them your dying questions, all on a virtual forum.
Man, I can't wait. Yeah, sign me up for that. I can't wait to do that and see if they got any questions about my character. My character wasn't like crazy though, complicated, I don't think. So, that should be.
I don't know, Isaiah. I don't know. We were going back and editing the show, and I'm telling you, I'm not just gassing you, Isaiah. You feel like you feel, but you really killed it. You really killed it. And I think that when people see your story, they're gonna be tickled, and at the same time, they're just gonna be like, wow, like I see a whole nother side of you in this show that I haven't seen before, and I didn't think that was possible. You killed it.
I'll take that. And you're a great director. You take that right back in your court. Bam, right there. There you go.
I'll take it. I'm going to eat it.
There it is. You have it, everybody. February 5th, 6th, and 7th. Please make time to go watch Nescience. We put a lot of hard work into this production, and it's a beautiful piece. So Thank you, Beatrice, for spending time and making time to come down here so we could talk about your beautiful show. It's going to be great. Yeah, man.
No, thank you, Isaiah. Thank you for showing the world what's good and also dedicating your talents, your time. You're great. You're anointed. You're awesome. I love you.
Oh, I love you too. So, is there anything that we need to know before we go? Anything else that people that I missed? Anything else that we need to talk about?
I think we hit it all on the head. Just come to the show, please.
Okay.
Begging you.
All right, Beatrice. I'm gonna get out of here. I'll talk to you soon.
All right, Zazel, love you.
All right. Bye.